Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all all right? Thank you for tuning in to the Unhinged Radio Show Live. I'm your host, Tilted Halo, sitting alongside my good girlfriend, Karen Sims of Twisted Threads. And if you couldn't tell by old girl's shoulder shimmy, we ready for yet another engaging conversation with you all. First and foremost, let me take this opportunity to say thank welcome to each and every one of you tuning in, whether you're joining us on Facebook, whether you're joining us on YouTube, or whether you are one of our replay viewer. We always like to take the time to let you all know that we appreciate your constant and consistent support. So before we get into it, let me go ahead and give you a brief rundown about how things are going to go on tonight's show. You already know it's about to be a ride. What is this over here, Karen? It's a joy tsunami.
Joy tsunami.
It's a joy tsunami. So thank y'all for joining us. Buckle your seatbelts, put on your life preservers as we ride these here conversational waves. Of course, we're gonna go merrily down the stream, and I'm gonna throw a little twist on that because we get to do what we feel like doing over here, Tilted Halo style. And of course, we're going to have a depth conversation about what's really going on because there's so much going on in the world right now. Karen, wouldn't you agree?
I do agree. I agree.
I know that's right. So before we get into our fan out, shout out, and get things underway, I gotta ask you, Karen, how you doing tonight, girlfriend?
Thank you for asking. I love when we play that intro, it's that shake, wiggle, wiggle, shake, wiggle, wiggle, and my body just does it automatically. It's not my fault if y'all see us on video and it's the shake, wiggle, wiggle. That is what the music demands. But I love it because it contributes to our joy tsunami. So listen, I am riding in the new whip out in these streets here.
Okay.
Yes. So, we had to do a little mini upgrade, and I had to be sensible and, couldn't buy all of the name brand things, but we got a little bit of name brand in there. It's like, well, we'll do this for now. We're going to talk a little bit about that as we talk about, financial responsibility and how us ladies are out here in these building generational wealth streets. But it is important to, set those priorities. And at first I was like, I want what I want. And that's the bottom line. But then, the Lord worked some things out. And so now we driving around. I can't tell all y'all. If you see me, you'll know. If you don't see me, well, then you don't know. But God is good. And that's what we would say.
Oh yes, my sister. I get it. You got anything else brewing? I know you steady reaping these accomplishments and these awards in the area of your professional prowess.
It's I don't know yet. It is award season, but I'm grateful that this season I'm also have the opportunity to support some other folks as they getting awards and kind of changing policy and creating newness out here in these streets. And in the midst of all of this, we got planned a wedding. So
did we say in the midst of it all? We got to plan a wedding?
In the midst of it all, we real close to a save the date status. That's what we rolling through with. So I'm preoccupied with all things of this go. My pointer finger over there.
The right finger. Yes.
So we gonna work on it. That's all I want to do. Like really, that's all I want to do. But in the professional streets, it's January and folks are just kind of getting in the groove, and it's a different landscape. And we're gonna talk about some things and what's really going on how the change in the landscape sometimes changes our professional environments and what that looks like. And hopefully, folks are asking the questions that we ask. That how you doing is an important question to ask in every environment, not just for us on the outside and on these internet streets and on these podcasts, but definitely in the professional settings as well. So I got to flip this around because when there is silence, there's never silence in your area. So I gotta ask, sis, how you doing out here
Well,
in these
yeah.
professional streets?
Well, I'm out here doing some things, and today I did something when I was made an offer, and this offer, unfortunately, as of today, was an offer that I chose to absolutely refuse because it was a whole lot less than what I wanted and what I absolutely deserve. So I basically stood boldly and said, "Nah, I'll wait." I'll wait. And what my silence is usually about. Those of y'all who've been riding with me in that no personal walk of life, when I get quiet, you need to understand that I am in the lab talking to my father for direction. I start out every single year at the water, the beach, and that's a tradition I started years ago as I really took the reins on my own personal growth and development. I decided to make sure every year I go lay my burdens down by the river. So I go down to the big river and I ask God what his plan is for me each and every year. And I promise you, and Karen, you are a witness, every single year he gives me something new that again he empowers me to manifest, whether it's in again the area of my profession, and especially what it is that we're birthing here with the Unhinged Radio Show Live. God is my business partner, and then here you come, someone I know loves the God like I do. So we put it together and we make it work because you and I are both out here trying to change that we want to see each and every day, whether it be at work, whether it be at the crib, hanging with our girlfriends. And I'm a little tilted. So tonight, pardon me, y'all. I gotta put it out there. If you see me, I got cookies. So we're gonna call this a cookies and conversations
Let's
with
do
Keita and
it.
Karen.
You know what?
Cookies and conversations with
I need you
Keita
to
and
know
Karen.
we doing
What?
this for y'all because every time we come together, we trying to figure out what's gonna keep it fresh and exciting for the people. I felt that shana in my spirit when you said cookies
Sister,
and
sister.
conversation.
Cookies and
Okay,
conversations
and
with
wait,
Karen
wait,
and
I'm
Keita.
looking now. What kind of I'm
Huh?
rocking the Oreos over here. What kind of cookie you got over there?
I got them Keebler fudge stripes,
All
but
right
they not
now.
the Keebler brand. They the store brand because I'm out here trying to get me some generational wealth. And what I have
I know
learned
it.
over the years, especially during my experience on the struggle bus, was that
Yes.
if you hold the two packages together, the ingredient list, they are in the same order and it's the same content each packet. And I did not pay for the name of the elf, y'all, but I purchased the store brand and it's just
So
as tasty.
now these, and we're gonna have a connoisseur cookie moment because these are the actual Oreo of the O's. But listen, we left the double stuff in the store because them was extra. Okay, so we got to take regular stuffing in the Oreos as we prioritize our finances. And I just feel, the Lord is taking us somewhere where even for those of you who don't know, I often mention we have our production meetings. We got meetings on the girl, what's going on with you? Girl, what's going on with you? So that we could bring relevance to you all every single week. We're not just here to give you the same take of news that you're going to find anywhere else. the same take on current events that you might find anywhere else. We over here fact checking because what y'all ain't gonna do is come for us. And what we don't fact check, y'all know my favorite word, allegedly. Allegedly, we
Allegedly.
had heard out
Alleged.
there in these streets, because y'all could try and say defamation, but we ain't said nothing yet. That's all we're gonna say for that. So cookies and conversations with Keita and Karen. Y'all saw it here first. That's what we gonna say. As
Yeah.
there are those out there trying to be connoisseurs of wine and aged liquor. I think this is right in our alley, Keita. What you think? I think this is
I got cookies.
cookies and conversation. Now, for all y'all Girl Scout cookie pushers, meet us at
All
the
out there.
meet us at
I
the
see y'all at Walmart. I know where y'all be.
meet
Yeah.
us at the
We got cookies in conversation with Keita and Karen. And while we're nibbling on something sweet, of course, we got to take the time to acknowledge some of our most favorite viewers, some of our most favorite supporters and fans. And right
Yes.
now, I just want to go ahead and take the opportunity. And I think this is appropriate that we eating these cookies because tonight's fan out shout out, tonight's fan out shout out goes to our brother and our friend to the show, Roy Schuler, the SAG AFTRA recording artist, model, actor, what it is that he don't do. If I was to
Voiceover,
quote a line,
cheesecake
he
entrepreneur, what
and
else?
that's why we got cookies because them cheesecakes, Roy. We just want to say thank you for blessing us with that recipe. You faceted, true Renaissance man in your own right. And brother, we celebrate you tonight. We're grateful for every open door that God continues to bless you to be able to walk through and impact people with just your swagger, brother, because conversation is beast. Okay? But yeah, you're out here doing big things. And while you're out there doing big things, you never fail to take the time to reach back and to pour into us, coming up behind you. And yes, I say we're coming behind you because we have watched your growth and we've watched your development over the years, and we've watched you move from one place to another pursuing a dream. So shout out to you, brother Roy Schuler. Y'all might see him every now and again if you're a fan of Saturday Night Live. He is often included in many of the comedic sketches that they present basis. Y'all might have seen this brother in Power. If you're in the Lehigh Valley area, you may have seen him on stage when he has done his community theater tour. Roy Schuler, we celebrate you tonight.
There you
Anything,
go.
go ahead and give up for Brother Roy.
Listen, one of the things that I truly admire about Roy, and this is a friend of ours, so this is not just a random person. We know a little bit about the journey. And Roy just never quit. And so, it wasn't because it wasn't difficult. It wasn't because he didn't have to make moves that were not common. But we didn't see the fear. We didn't see that. And so when it was like, I'm going to launch the cheesecake. Listen, I want you to know, Keita, I was one of the original taste testers of
You too?
cheesecakes
Oh,
by Chester. Wait a minute. So we had a conversation when we came out with not the pumpkin cheesecake, but the sweet potato cheesecake. And me and grandchild Ariel came through and was like, we gonna taste test the first batch of this. So I consider it a personal opportunity to not only connect with our brother, but also shout him out and continue to encourage him. Now, y'all know he keep us up on what the next thing he's doing. And I hear that there's some skits that he may or may not have been a part of for this week. So you might want to take your mid-afternoon nap so you could, if it don't get cut, that's the part. I'll be like, oh, ready for it. And then they be like, oh, we had to cut it because we had to do something else. But if it don't get cut, Karen gonna be up late night so that I can see this week's sketch. Cause they keep it funny. If y'all don't watch Saturday Night Live, I promise you it's still as funny as it used to be. They still over there cutting all the way up. all
All
the
the
way.
way up.
So
All
shout
the
out to
way up.
Roy. I always see him as an inspiration because he never gave up. He did not succumb to the fact of, you're too old, it took too long, your time is past, and now he is totally walking in the benefits of that. Keep on moving. Don't stop, y'all.
That's right. And
Yeah.
I promise you, if he was to hear that particular song playing, he would definitely be out there cutting the two step. Because can't brother cut a rug or what?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, as we're talking, make sure you take time to laugh every single day and take every opportunity you have to cut a rug. Get your two step on. Ain't nobody asking you to be no TikTok professional with all them new moves because some of us don't have good knees anymore. But if you got a two step, you got enough to get your boogie back. All right?
All right, boogie back. Wiggle,
Now
wiggle,
get
shake
your
is
boogie
what I
back.
call it. Wiggle,
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 shake.
shake. Wiggle,
Wiggle,
shake.
wiggle, 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 shake. Okay, we acting up now. Here we
Okay,
go.
okay, all right, we acting up, we acting up. So yeah, before we move it right along, Karen, you know, I love to share some of the inspirational that I'm blessed to be able to view on every single day. And this one like hit me like a big old bag of boulders. Thank God I'm not knotted up in my forehead piece. The way this hit me, to be exactly where we're standing today, you and I, even as we're living this dream together, I want to go ahead and ask you what comes to mind when you hear this. All right. Sometimes it takes 10 years to get that 1 year that will change your life. Sometimes it takes 10 years to get that 1 year that will change your life. What comes to mind?
I got to unleash all of the twisted and the threads that come along with that because in this
Ravel, unravel. I'm sorry.
listen, in this world that we've been a part of, when I tell you all viewers that what you see, the synergy that my sister and I share on the screen, when you listening to us, when you watching us laugh with each other, this is more than a decade in the making. See, 10 years ago, we weren't ready to step into the places that we are walking in freely right now. That meant that we had to take time to prepare, to cultivate, to get experiences so that we could talk to somebody about it. We had to go through some things and sit on the back of the struggle bus, not the back, the back of the struggle bus with a hot air come back in through, like
Yeah,
the
by
exhaust.
the emergency exit with the
That
equipment.
part, it took some time for us to get here. And so many of us are accustomed to a microwave world where we could just say, I want to place my order and y'all got 90 seconds to get it to me, or 30 minutes or less, or I want a refund. Listen, these things have also interjected our minds with the thought that work and success does not take time. We just shouted out our friend Roy. That took time for him to get into those places. He was doing other things before he got on the billboard, and then it was the commercial, and then we could see him on TV. And it was before we had Instagram and Facebook to keep up with people. We had to actually turn on the television and be like, I think that is that Roy? Is that we gotta understand that it's required for that in our lives. But I'm glad you asked that and I'm glad you set it up with that. We were not here 10 years ago. We were still
We were
cultivating
not.
a relationship where the synergy was there, where I had the cookies and you said, I think I'm gonna go get some cookies. And I show you my cookies and you like, I'm going to get them cookies. Because we know that it's something that is not circumstantial. It's not coincidence, but you gotta live
No,
it to know it. See, we out here in these streets, y'all, but we for real about this because of the experiences that we have gained over the past 10 years. So some of y'all are looking at things. I laugh because even in my personal life, my nephew just graduated from college this weekend. He didn't go right into college after high school. He was like, I want to do some things. And then he started making some
mm-hmm.
money. Like, I ain't even studying, y'all. I'm making money. I'm good. But when God got a plan for you, listen, we say 1,000 years is like one day. That's the same thing when we're saying it will take us 10 years to get that 1 year. And here's the reason why the 10 years and the patience and the 10 years is important.
Girl,
So we don't miss a thing. Because if we had it 10 years ago, y'all, we would have been a
we
hot
the
mess, number one.
man, listen.
We wouldn't have had no stamina for longevity. We'd have been like, I don't want to come on every Tuesday. We gonna come on once a month, and then y'all figure it out. We wouldn't understand the moment of responsibility. But that same type of thing in that 10 years of my nephew going from I don't want to go to school. Wait a minute, y'all give money for these degrees? Let me carry myself over here. And not only
That's how you get the bag. That's how you get the.
come on now. Come on now. And so then it ignites something else in his head that he says, I think I want to go further. Yeah, in this 10 years, I got my bachelor's degree, and that's cool and everything. But if I take another year, see, that's this 1 year that we're talking about, that he's been accepted to a master's degree program that is only a 1 year program that will double his earning power more than what the degree is going to do right now. See, that's strategy. It takes 10 years of strategy for you to live that 1 year to the fullest. And I want to remind y'all, because if some of y'all was wondering which year was that, it's 2023. It's this year right here. So whatever you've been doing for the past 10 years, this year is the cultivation of all of the things you put your hand to. All right, I'm a lay the mic down.
Girl, let's see, prophesy. Girl, you just go ahead and prophesy. Girl, don't let that word out your
2023.
belly.
If you
Listen,
thinking that
listen.
we doing
10
it,
years.
10 years.
10 years. As you said, Karen, 10 years cultivating relationships. Uh, 10 years learning the lessons and taking them from each and every experience we've shared in the last 10 years. 10 years waiting on prayers that we wrote down and placed in little boxes, waiting for them to manifest. Started from the bottom, now we here. Look at God. There was some lessons that we absolutely had to learn, as you said, and I got to put it in Tilted Talk, so we wouldn't fumble the ball. Now, we in the middle of the end of the football season, and somebody fumbling the ball on the football field caused a team to lose and miss their opportunity to play in a championship game. Understand, even with the NFL bracket, every 10 years, the top teams on that list actually change. One day it is going to be you. That is my encouragement for you tonight. One day, in 10 years, possibly, that will be you. I'm encouraged with this thought, and it took me to a word that reminded me that they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles and soar. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and never faint. So don't get tired, y'all. We in it to win it. You in it to win it. I'm in it to win it.
I'm in it. I'm
So
in it. Listen, I'm in it. And
I
we're so glad that you all are in it with us, because you get to track the success of where we're going, of the initiatives that we work towards, and can't stop, won't stop. Listen, that's the motto all year long. Can't stop, won't stop, because we've got big dreams that God has allowed us to not only dream and have a vision for, but He's working those things out. And they're not just for our backyard. Listen, we need y'all holding it down in the backyard. So everybody can't go, because we need somebody here to turn on the computer, turn on the TV, and say, y'all better come over here and see about carrying the key, and Karen. Cookies and conversation with Keita and Karen. Listen, you never know where these things
cookies
are
and
going to go.
conversations.
But we're super excited that you all are here along for the ride. It's important that you're here. You're important to our success. And hopefully you're getting something that's encouraging your heart and your mind to say, you know what, this laughter is good for my soul. This opportunity to see two sisters doing it and doing it together. We're not hating on one another, honey. If a door open,
No.
she already know I'm holding it for her, and I am the beneficiary of as many doors as she hold open or she kick open. Usually, but Karen coming, kick the door open.
Come on here, Karen.
Come
Pull
on
up.
my way.
Pull up, sis, and not for a new ride. So at this point, you moving at lightning speed. Next time, Keita come calling because we
I'm
got
gonna act
some
right. I'm gonna try to act
great
right.
things. We got some great things. Look, y'all know I'm gonna have me a session with Twisted Threads when we get off this live, right? But I'm gonna leave that alone. So we're gonna move this train. We're gonna keep it moving forward. We're gonna chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it. Hold up, I need some water. Hold up. See my cup? See my little sippy cup?
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, yeah.
Hmm.
So, cause you're gonna sit first, and then I'm gonna sit second. Cause you know I done ain't did nothing but scream and holler for my nephew all weekend long, and the voice just coming back. I said I got the show, Lord. You know we got to get the voice back.
Gotta
So
can't
you
be
know,
counting it yet. Uh-huh. So it's time to hold up. Ready? You ready to point?
I'm ready.
Point your remote control at your TV screen. Merrily, 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 find something to stream. All right, all right. Did I catch
That
it,
was good.
directors?
That was good. That was good. Love the vibrato at the end. That was very good. Appreciate you.
I had to represent our choir days. Our choir days. Yeah,
Absolutely.
still got a little warble. I still got a little warble to me. So yeah, what we talking about first? Because there's a lot going on, and it's just one piece that I want to talk about with that, Karen. All right,
Yes.
but
Yes.
what do I want to talk about first as we go merrily down the stream? All right, check it out. Netflix, Netflix, Netflix has blessed us yet again. Netflix, Netflix, Netflix. I need y'all to send me a check. But yes,
Let's
they
put it
have
on here so
blessed
that they
us
know.
once again with yet another Netflix movie. And I've watched some of the commentary from different people who viewed You People. You People that stars Lauren London, Eddie Murphy, Nia Long, and Jonah Hill. And it's an interracial interface love story. That's the way I would personally describe it.
Right.
And it was very entertaining, and it presented some lessons that many of us may have experienced, lived, and learned in our own personal world. I love the delightful way it was presented, and they put an interesting spin and perspective on some heavy conversations, some things that a lot of people are even afraid to address right now in this racial climate here in the good old US of A. I liked it. I got my chuckle on. I took away from it what it was supposed to give. I think the movie gave what it was supposed to give. You know, my heart gets a little agitated when I tear down Netflix movies as if they're supposed to be Oscar contending um, pro, you know, projects, and that's not always the case. Not up movies, y'all. If you know anything about production and it takes to perfect the script and get timing right with the cast, the ensemble, the lighting squad, the cameramen, even the craft services that are on site for a production. You understand that Netflix is out here doing their thing and trying to make sure they capitalize each and every opportunity that they're presented. And with a lot of what we're going to be discussing tonight, I think this is a movie that we were supposed to see, so we can, take a more lighthearted approach to have conversations that need to be had. What do you think, Karen?
You hit it on the head there, is that these Netflix movies, projects are, in my opinion, supposed to help us initiate the conversation so we can continue the dialogue. So, all of the things that we saw Eddie Murphy and crew get on the screen and do was absolutely super duper funny. Real life, Bobby would have had a larger body count. That's all we're gonna say for that. But I thought that they did it well. I thought that addressing the stereotypes was super important because there's not another way like to get around it. You know what I mean? There's unless we sit down and talk about the things that are important to us, unless we sit down and figure out the conversations that not only do we have to have in our own generation, but intergenerationally. So I love it how the interracial is like, well, we Muslim, and calling people out. Or, I think it was one where it was like, wait, you Muslim? Was that bacon you was eating Muslim too? Like,
Right?
we gotta, call it out, but also understanding. And I think this was one of the biggest things, is that there are people of other backgrounds, religions, that are enjoying our African American Black culture. They've been enjoying it. And maybe they might be, I don't know what the right word is. They might be aficionados in that area to a certain degree. And so we gotta give them their props for that. The biggest thing that I love was really that the parents came through and said, you know
Yes.
what, we did this wrong. We influence your outcome in a way that we probably should not have. And for many of us as parents, we want our kids to follow a particular path, only do, from here to here. Don't dare come out of here or
Right.
over here, because, what the church folk gonna say, what the work people gonna say. We worried about what everybody else is gonna say. When in fact, in this particular case, there were two people who truly loved each other, loved, not without difficulty, not without challenges. And I love that they kept it real on that part, to be like, you really don't know what's going on. Shout out to Lauren London and all her different hair looks that he was able to keep up
Okay,
with.
she was working it. She was working it.
Working it. But I enjoyed it. Nia Long, I think this was a different role, in my opinion, of, we really see her being the power woman. And so, for her to play this role, she still was super supportive, beautiful, loved the sisterhood, who was like, and we all have those friends who is like, who this white lady talking to us? Like, why is there
Okay.
somebody in our circle? But reminding us, like, we got to learn how to support everybody in our circle, even if we don't agree with them on 1,000. So I appreciated the look see. I heard from you that it was a good watch. The future boo said he thought it was a good watch. So I said, okay, while I'm trying to recoup, get this voice back after yelling for everybody who walked across the stage. We're gonna see what Eddie and them over there doing. And they did do a good job of showing realness. Shout out to, I think, Kenya Barris, who is the producer and director of this. She stay getting
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Get
stay
them checks, girl. Get them
getting.
Netflix checks.
This one was well deserved. She definitely hit all the points, had the heavy hitters in front of the camera, but also brought difficult conversations. And hopefully we keep it going in that vein. So we've got an opportunity just to see more of what people are doing.
Yep.
Love it, love it, love it. So keeping it moving. Hey, if y'all with us and joining us, don't just watch. If you driving, just watch. But if you listening and you can leave a comment, go ahead on through and like our pages, like the comments, send us a comment so that we can see what you all have to say as well about what you were watching. If you were one of those along with us who watched what is it again? You People. I love the title. Just all in itself.
You people.
Because honey, that can start a fight no matter where you from. You hear me? Like, you people.
Right?
I don't care what your background is. You want more clarification when somebody say you people do. Hold on.
You people. What you
Hold
mean, you
on.
people?
Hold on now. But I just truly enjoyed it. And so we're super excited to be able to laugh together, to laugh about the similar things that we're watching. And then, once you watch one thing, they gonna tell you about a whole bunch of other things of, what you're watching. So I'm gonna kick it back to you, Tilted, and ask, what else might there be on your merrily down the stream view?
Well, it's a whole lot, and streaming is diverse these days, and you and I have had conversations about streaming audiobooks. So I thought I'd throw a nice audio book in the mix. All
Nah.
right. Um, we often talk about seasons in our conversations, especially in our sister friend prayer circle. Shout out to the ladies and the illustrious Kiana Cox Jones. That's how we say her name, Kiana Cox Jones, because it's powerful and it absolutely has a whole lot of meaning. This book is that I added to my library a couple months ago is called The Six Seasons of Calling.
Mm.
And it's authored by Brian Sanders. And I was in my prayer and meditation time because I recognize that I'm in a different season in my life, and I'm really trying to tune with the direction God is giving me. And I really started to hone in on the seasons of my personal walk. I started
Mhm.
to reflect on my own adolescence. I began to reflect on the years between the ages of 20 and 40 and the things I accomplished, things I gained and I'd lost. And I came to the thought that they absolutely had meaning. So I was like, well, Lord, I'm trying to, gussy up on my reading, some of these books that I done purchased, I'm reestablishing the habit of reading a book a month. So I
Mm.
guess this is going to be my book recommendation for those of you
Okay.
who are looking for direction as seasons change in your life. This book is called The Six Seasons of Calling, and it really gives a lot of insight um, about what's happening in those certain year spaces in your life as it relates to your life's purpose and what you are called to do. Y'all already know I live a life absolutely of purpose. I don't do nothing much for money anymore. Just because it got a high dollar sign don't necessarily mean it aligns with my divine purpose. So yeah, I went merrily down the stream and completed this audio book to
Love it.
ensure that I'm building up my spirit as we continue to walk. You
I
did?
love, I love the curveballs because y'all know I stay out here in these audible streets. I need you to know it is all the way live when it come on that side there. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that. A couple of things that's on my listen view. We do have a diversity book club on the job, and so we've got some work related reading. But there was one that was and for those of you, I don't know, I don't have no problem with saying it, but it was a book recommended by my therapist, and I promise you, it's called The Power of Focus. Um, and sometimes, we got a lot of things that are on our plate. It just was helpful to me. I got a whole bunch of books because I'm trying to feed my food for the petty pew, and so I'm also listening to Spare by by Prince Harry, cause I need the drama to stay on the pages, not actually in my life. But I appreciate the fact when I can, peek over the fence at somebody else's dramatic thing. So I love that. I promise you. Listen, y'all coming in here in January and we feeding y'all all kinds of stuff. You never know. Just know that the elevation is real because the work gets put in. So power focus. Love it.
Yeah, the power of focus.
Spare is good. It's very wait, it's supposed to be two thumbs up.
Two thumbs
So
up.
far, so far, two thumbs up. It's
And
like
not for nothing, Prince Harry, I never said this before. I'm going to say this amongst our good audience and listeners. Listen, that boy a little bit easy on the eye, ain't
he cute. Here's your,
I'm like, okay, come through, Prince Anna
here's
and
your.
Prince Charles. Y'all did that. That
I
boy
don't know if
Louisiana.
I don't know. I'm gonna say it. This maybe I'll say this for the pay per view. No, what I'm saying right now. I don't know if I missed the cute years from his brother.
I
What's
don't even know if they even happened,
that
but
I
y'all already
wasn't
know.
watching because he was somebody's husband, so I wasn't looking. But I don't
He
know.
wasn't before he was a husband.
I missed the cute years, but Harry's still cute. God bless him. And they out there making cute babies. You know, that's the best part. They get to recreate and make more cuteness in the world. So that's good. All right. So I like that kind of curveball. Y'all know when we come through here with Tilted, we never know what we gonna get. And so, true to her current season of calling, she definitely threw that that curveball. So now I gotta talk a little bit about what I started streaming, and that was with
Yes.
Project
Wait,
Six.
wait, 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 wait. Wait.
What's that?
Girl, before you get into it, I
Okay.
was waiting for this. I was waiting for this before you get into it. But check it out. It's the
Yeah.
eve of the month that this nation takes to acknowledge the history that is Black. We are Black history every single day. So we're going to get a jump start on it. Tomorrow's February 1st. I hate to date the episode, but it is what it is. We are about to talk about the 1619 project. Take it away, Karen.
Listen, now here's one that will feed you on two sides because if you haven't read or listened to the book, you can definitely do that. That's an option for you. Some folks don't like to watch things, whether it's documentaries or not. I love documentaries all day. You give me a documentary, long as I got a blanket and probably some popcorn and some tea, I'm good all day and night. So I only watched episode one of the release of the Project 1619 on Hulu. It is sort of a limited series and they're releasing episodes a week at a time. So they released episodes one and two this past weekend. I was going to binge through the two, but I said, you know what? Let me give this an opportunity.
No.
Because here's the challenge. Um, it was heavier than I don't know what I was expecting, but it was heavy. And for those of us who this is our heritage, we recognize that we have a multicultural audience and we love all y'all. We're gonna love y'all during Black History Month too, I promise. And with that, it's sort of like you gotta think back to what it took to get us to today and how much work it seems like hasn't even been done. It's crazy
Right.
when we hear
Right? That's what I was thinking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no about the stories. When we hear about the stories, they had real life people who talked about what happened to them when they tried to vote. We had real life people, and so like I had to sit with that. So I it may not hit everybody the same. Maybe you could watch it and you ain't got no great grandmother. You not thinking about how we built this country, and did not ever, I don't know if I could say we ever have received the recognition that I believe that we deserve, because every group that came here to America have been immigrants outside of the Native American Indians. All of us are immigrants. And so the fact that we were treated differently because of the color of our skin, because of our cultural history, because of our background, and the fact that people get to say, I don't want you teaching my kids about your blackness. I don't want you teaching my kids about the history that your great grandfather, about where bourbon came from, but y'all gonna top it back about what the emancipation actually meant, about why the Civil War was actually fought. Y'all don't want the truth in that. But the fact of the matter is that it's replaying itself every single day. So that wasn't the commentary. I suggest the watch because Nicole Hannah Jones has just a real natural intuitiveness behind the way that she's presenting this story that she's presenting the documentary, a lot of personal stories about her father, who is ex-military, and the things that
Hmm.
he experienced. Just very, very deep. I suggest take little chunks at a time. If don't nothing hit you the wrong way, proceed to get what you need. But it was a lot of things for me to reflect on. So I took the time to reflect on it, what it means about voter suppression, and how come, these things are happening in the poorest of the neighborhood. Y'all want to rezone a spot? Go over there to Beverly Hills. Go ahead on over there. They got money to get
Right.
going. Stop doing that to these small cities, to the poorest
Yes.
cities in the country, and thinking that the impact is not being watched. We see y'all. We see y'all
We are looking right at you.
right at you with eyes wide open. That's the whole thing. Worthy of the watch, I believe. No matter your nationality, go ahead on over there and get a part of the conversation, so that you get a better understanding of what's actually going on in this country, and why sometimes race relations are just trash. I can't even say it another way.
Yes,
It's
that's
so
it.
difficult.
Just trash.
Trash.
Straight trash. And,
Like,
not for nothing, uh, ditto to everything that you just said, Karen. I'm actually going to go back to dissect episode one. I'm not ready to do this, because the information that we were given, in episode one about voting, and hearing the conversations from folks, not so long ago, talking about how they're being redirected and rezoned. And it took me to back to many of the conversations we had during the major election seasons, where people dismiss having the right to vote as
yeah,
something that is absolutely meaningless, when there's so many of us, out here, that are, chasing demons, breaking generational curses, knowing what some of our forefathers or ancestors, so to speak, went through to get us where we are and have the right to be today. Uh, Listen, if it wasn't for the blood, sweat, and tears of those who went before us and were whipped by dogs, and um, challenged, mentally in so many different ways, to even use the tactic of literacy to give, the black man the right to vote just after he was officially freed from slavery, was a tactic to make sure that we were kept in limited spaces. But I'm grateful, that many of us caught the vision, and continue to run with it, and being active and being the change that we want to see.
yeah.
Active, and making sure that we get down to the polls and cast our votes when we're supposed to. Those of us who are actually able to tell you which congressional district that we live in, and that are actually paying attention and holding our local legislatures accountable for the things that happen in, around, and to us. You
Mhm.
know, don't ever dismiss your right to vote, y'all. I recommend it. Sometimes, even as we were discussing, the You People movie, sometimes these conversations are absolutely necessary to get
Yeah,
us to the next step in the road. And sometimes taking that next step can be hard. And it might feel comfortable when you're being stretched in a direction you didn't necessarily intend to go. Get the information, because knowledge is power, y'all. And you might discover somebody had been filling your ears and your head with some information that is absolutely, incorrect, and basically limiting you, which is, detrimental to your own growth and development in areas of success in your life. Get it together. Merrily down the stream to this here, series. I believe, Harpo Studios is also
yes,
involved,
yep.
in this with this project. And we know Harpo Studios. We know who that is. That's
All
Sister
day,
Oprah.
all
That's
day.
Sister Oprah. Making sure that she uses all the power that she's been given to educate and inform, whether y'all like her or not. One thing I do know, she's made many a life better with the information she's been empowered to share with the many, many platforms she has access to. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Listen, the one final thing I'll mention about this, and I promise I'll let y'all just go watch it. There was a story, one particular story shared of a man who was jailed and sent to state prison for attempting to exercise his right to vote. And so, as many things as you could think about, all of the thoughts of this was a young man, he was young and now he is old. Oh my goodness. And to hear the story of he knows what his contribution was. We want to invite all of you, whatever your contribution in the world is, you making an impact in somebody's life. So think about these people when you're doing different things and understand that. We used to talk about it all the time. Keita, I don't know if that was you, but I know for me, we would hear it so much growing up. We at one point I would be like, what did they do? What did they do? I don't know what they did. What do you mean? You know, we standing on the backs of giants. What does that mean? But now you get details and understand the hardships that people had to do. I would dare not disrespect the challenges that they faced and overcame by sitting at home on any given election. Honey, if they are hiring a new commissioner to replant trees, I'm
Come
at
on.
the house and we voting. I don't care which election it is. I am voting out of respect and in memory of those who are no longer here to have that privilege to say, yeah, we gonna see this thing through. So all of the things you'll probably hear more about this over the next coming weeks. All I promise, it's gonna be
Yeah, because it's episodes, so stick with us, y'all. It's episodes. You're gonna hear
absolutely,
about it. Most show, y'all gonna hear about
absolutely.
it. And here's one thing that is just amazing to me. That many of the giants that we're talking about were everyday people. Names ain't never hit no papers.
That part,
We don't never hear their names.
not no
Um,
good.
and and and, and they stayed into the fight, until they died, to make sure, again, this door will be open to us, for another opportunity to go ahead and make sure that we're able to show up everywhere we're predestined to. So, yeah, man, moving right along, moving right along. All right, we got to get into it. Um,
Ready?
what time check? Yes, it's time, Karen. What? It's time for that segment, Karen. What?
What segment?
What?
What segment?
What?
What segment?
What's really going on?
Hey, Ow. What's really going on?
What's really going on? What really?
What?
Oh,
What's
what
really going?
really
What's
going
really going?
on?
What's
What
going on?
really
Going on,
going
going on,
on?
going on and on and on and on and on and
Hey,
on
and
and
on and on and
on.
on and on and on and on and on.
What's really
Oh,
going
I'm
on?
sorry.
Y'all know we get long if you out here and pull us out. We gonna be remixing all evening long.
Yeah, it's gonna be no shout out to the Tilted Halo tribe. Everybody out here doing things in the street. Shout out to that boy AP, our good girlfriend Natural D, and the loveliest queen ever, Miss Audrey Dindy Hightower,
Light
who's
it
out
up.
there shaking a tail feather. She
Do
out
it.
somewhere shaking a tail feather right about now. As she prepares for her next production. We're gonna get
Mhm.
into that in the near future. All right.
Yes.
Man,
We
Karen,
got a lot
you
going on.
know, we got a lot going on right now. And, y'all might hear a little tremble in my voice, because I like to be as transparent as humanly possible. But this story right here is all over the place right now. We are revisiting some things. From my perspective, this is how I'm feeling. We are going to say his name and, of course, take a moment of silence, to acknowledge, the life, of Tyree Nichols. Yeah, I had to let me wait. That felt really good. So let me
Breathing.
take another deep breath in and take my time to let it out because this is a conversation I don't really want to have tonight.
And yeah, here we are. Here we are.
Yet here we are again. And, Karen, I'm just going to put this out here before I toss the mic to you. This is a trauma trigger for me.
Hmm.
And as I can imagine, it is a trauma trigger for so many different folks. But for me, to see that this has happened um, with the black and the blue at this juncture in time, it took me back to when the world was in a pandemic frenzy and lives were being lost left and right. I just lost my mother, and even as I was in my own season of grief, I had to take up arms with my children and so many others, and take it to the streets and raise my voice in outrage, so to speak, against what happened with our brother George. Now, today, we find ourselves standing um, in yet another experience where another loss at the hand of not only the blue, but the black and the blue. Done my absolute best to try and unpack it, to find words to share, um, to uplift, because that's where my heart thrives, in uplifting others, especially with what we do here on the platform. But to have to try and wrap my mind around what we all just saw, I'm a little soft. I did not view this video, wasn't taking myself through it again because I only needed to see that type of foolishness one time. I've seen it before, so I don't need to see it again. But mother, as a grandmother, with these princes in my family, as an auntie to your boys, to know the greatness that these are the faces that ran through my mind when I saw Tyree's face. I saw Joshua, I saw Joe, I saw Lamont, I saw Timothy, I saw Aaron, I saw Tevin, saw the young men that I'm blessed to have in my life. I saw their faces um, when I saw this,
Yeah.
and I felt it coming out of my own season of dealing with grief and loss and cycling through the holidays and finally getting myself steadily onto mental feet. To see this again was a bit much. And to hear the conversation and the people sharing their enraged perspectives, it sent me to silence. Because what else can I do in this season but pray, not only for my people,
Yes.
but pray for a nation,
Mm-hmm.
to pray for the mothers and the fathers who have to have these unnecessary conversations,
Mm-hmm.
that don't necessarily equip them to be protected, even when they abide by the law. To see this, to hear it, mm-mm. It was a bit, Aaron. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me get my tears together.
It's important. It's relevant. Um, it's necessary on a couple of levels to still feel this
Yeah.
because we have become so numb to so much that um, it becomes necessary for us to feel this even more. So all of the reasons that you mentioned, I've got the next generation of young people also that we're bringing up. So the current men who are these in the same age bracket, and what that means for any of us to see this level of loss for people, for humans in our age bracket, kind of takes something away. And it's hard to explain what it takes away from us, as not just as Black mothers, not just as Black women, not just as members of the same society, but as members of this human race, of what happens to humanity when it is no longer a part of the group that is trained, conditioned, sanctioned, and charged with our safety. And so it becomes greater than a, well, I got beef with you, East Coast, West Coast beef, because we could criminalize things on that nature and say, yeah, but they were criminals. They were criminals. We could say that all,
Right.
but allegedly, y'all know, they were criminals. Um, these are the people that are paid, trained, sanctioned to protect us, and then murder, because that's what this was, and then murder. Um, the greater challenge for us in the African American Black community, African diaspora, wherever you saying you're coming from, the greatest portion of this is when we are taken out by our own. Because somewhere in there is a thought of, we can't do a, Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter because some of our own are in that number. And you can't, mix the good with the bad. But there's so many layers to this that requires deep conversation. And it's more than whether you watch the video or not. You don't need to watch the video to know the outcome was horrific. Like you don't need to watch it. I watched maybe like 3 seconds of it. That was all that my heart could take, because on Friday morning, as I was celebrating my 29-year-old nephew, I watched on the news a mother grieving the loss of hers, and understanding the significance. That's why I ain't got no voice, because I promise you, that gave me a I don't know if reason, but it was a mission that we got to celebrate everybody. Because when we got senseless violence out here for us, by us, to us, we got to change the conversation, because it's no longer, and this is the part where it is so sad that this happened, but there's an opportunity for significant impact to come about when we can move these race relation conversations as if it is only Black against white, because that's what it's been this entire, all them white cops, and trust me, it's still there, Black and blue, it's still there. But now we have to reform and have discussions about reformation of an entire system outside of
Yes.
color. So it was like, we got to train the white folks on how to kill us. Honey, they all need to be trained on how not to kill us,
Come
because
on.
now you're killing your own. So where is the mirror? Where's the moment that you take to say, I you know, I'm
I'm
not.
killing myself.
Yeah,
Boom.
right. That
That's
part.
what that's a
I'm
thought
not
that
doing
should
this.
come to your mind.
That's it.
I'm
That's
killing
it.
myself. What am I doing right now?
My seed, my family, my lineage, everything that's connected to me. And I think that the hardest part, so I'm going to take us through a little bit of the timeline so we know when this all happened and understand it, because normally it would take months for a video to surface. It would take months for us to get any type of details. And for all y'all who out here pimping on these internet streets with fake information, cut it out. Cut it out. We got enough trying to figure out what the real information is. So the incident happened on January 7th. It allegedly was connected to a traffic violation, and Tyree was allegedly pulled over for a traffic stop in Memphis, Tennessee. One of the poor cities with a lot of it's just a lot of stuff going on in Memphis. That's all we can tell you for that. Tyree was beaten and went to the hospital and was in critical conditions on the machines, on all of the things. Unfortunately, I saw the pictures of him in the hospital. 3 days later, he died from his injuries. The police officers, fire department, and EMT workers, quite a few of them were relieved from their duties on January 18th. That is 11 days. On the 27th, 26th, and 27th, a week later from that, was when the video started being released, and the police officers and I believe a couple of the fire department employees were also charged with second degree murder. A little bit different because first degree murder usually is involved in cases where loss of life happens right there at the site. So you did something, that person died, that's usually first degree murder. Because there were mitigating circumstances that he did retain his life for a little bit of time, there's some contributing things. I don't know all of the details about the second degree murder charge, but it's also a charge that will be able to stick versus us saying no, we want first degree murder charges against the police officers. There's certain rules that each of the degree murders have to follow
Mhm.
in the on the legal side of things. So I believe that the family was satisfied with the charge, not because for satisfaction's sake, but because they believe that those are the charges that are going to stick, and that those folks who were involved with the demise and death of their child will come to justice for that. One of the biggest challenges in all of this was that secondary to the beating of Tyree was the bystanders who watched, who did not provide adequate medical attention, who did not come in and try to alleviate any of the pain that he was having. And so, because of that, all of those things, not just the beating alone, the fact that he was unattended to by the medical professionals also contributed to his ultimate demise. That listen, when you have head injuries, when you got certain type of injuries, time is of the essence for you to get medical treatment, or it goes from a bad situation to irreversible. And this is where we're seeing all of these things come together. A lot more details coming out. Yes, the police chief in Memphis is a Black woman. There are also other service members that have been alleged to be involved. We don't know all of the details about what's going on with them, whether they will be charged or whether they won't. What happens with those who have been relieved of their duties and those who are still on duty and getting paid for it. The reason why this was important for us to talk about the black and blue is this: rules don't apply to y'all, bro. Rules don't The same rules don't apply to you as in whether it was a George Floyd situation or other situations. And I'm not really sure that, we've seen so many inhumane acts that it almost causes us to be like, oh, okay, this is another one. Oh, this is different on so many different levels. Because although we have seen people get beat by folks of different nationalities, this one is a lot different because uh, this is supposed to be these folks represent those folks who are supposed to be our homies and our safety net. And now you are telling us as a Black community that there is no refuge for us. There's no place that we could go and be safe. And what does that mean for a young African American Black male or female who are just trying to make their way in the world, that now the folks who look like them are also not on the friendly side of the street? Like, it's a lot to unpack with that. A lot to unpack with that.
Listen, there's a whole lot, and I think it's absolutely appropriate that we discuss the 1619 project on tonight, on the same discussion platform as this situation,
Mhm.
because some of the information so far in that docu series is that the information that shares what the policing system was founded on and why it was established. It was primarily established in the South, um, um, from their perspective, of course, to limit the progress of the freed African slave. They had to police them a certain way, um, to find creative ways to incarcerate them all over again. Enacted the Jim Crow laws, where people were sentenced to massive prison terms for even the most minor of offenses. We have to know that reform is necessary, and how officers are being selected, first of all, for these positions of service, and how they're being trained to effectively serve the communities where they're working, where they're serving. I know, um, in the state of New Jersey, many laws require those in active civil servant positions to live in the communities that they serve, as a way to develop a commonality and a familiarity to the vibe of the to know what's going on, what's not going on, to really get a bird's eye view of the issues that impact them every single day. I know in some of our most disparaged communities, a lot of the behaviors that we see manifesting are a result of a people that have been constantly oppressed, and they don't see any way out because they're not able to find safety in those who've been chosen to serve. I remember back in the day growing up as a youngin' in the streets of Patterson, New Jersey, being able to go up and have a conversation with the police officers. Little brown girl whose head was a little half nappy, half straight because I went in the hydrant, after grandma pressed my hair, messed it up.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I was still able to go and have a conversation with Officer Joe looking crazy and all. And I felt like I could find Officer Joe and he would help me find my way home, or he would at least make sure that I got home safely. We grew up in an era where, they really were in the streets and not afraid to walk in the streets. But again, we know the society has changed, and all this foolishness with these 3D guns and illegal firearms being out here in the streets. Again, I made reference to the mental health of our people. Sometimes, people who are that get pushed over, every now and again they act up.
True.
They get to stabbing and they get to fussing and fighting and all of the foolery. But again, where's the training?
Yeah.
Um, I didn't see Tyree do anything necessarily wrong, but run to protect his life. Because maybe he sensed something that we could never feel in that moment
Right.
because we weren't there. We weren't in that space. Why did he run? I know a lot of people may ask that question, but fear is an fight or flight is a natural human response.
It is.
Um, we walking not for nothing, just something as simple as walking down a dark hallway in your house when the nightlight ain't on. Somewhere on the inside of you, you thinking something might absolutely jump out and get you. Fight or flight. You are prepared to run. I know I have run to my bathroom in the dark because I thought. But anyway, let
It's
me bring it back. Dude, we don't know what he felt, but right now we know that there are a bunch of people across the world that are feeling nothing but sadness and sorrow, because we've lost yet another, to foolishness. We don't understand, and maybe it'll come out in the wash. But right now, I'm weary. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
and it's hard to continue to bounce back when there just seems to be no end to it, no rhyme or reason. We add to the reasons why our lives are cut short, and the reasons do not match the activities that's going on. And so it's like, okay, well, what do we need to do to diminish this from happening? And FYI, many of so one of the things that came out is that the group that was involved in the beating are part of a special task force, special
Scorpion.
units, right?
Hmm.
In the city where this happened. And now that scrutiny is coming to dismantle those type of units in every town, like in every city. And so I know we're feeling the heat of those conversations here in North Carolina, because folks are like, oh no, 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 you're not bringing this over here. If this is the outcome, it's got to go. Dismantle it. Ain't nobody got time to be waiting for, oh, one out of. No, everybody got to go. And to some people that might be extreme, but I gotta say that I'm not one of those people. I do believe that there is something to be said about saying let's look at reform for all of the areas, not just the one area, because this has been something else. That's all I can say. It's been
It has,
something else.
girl. And it has been something else. There's a lot of areas that need to be reformed, and I personally believe that the credit system here in this good old United States of America needs to be reformed after this here recession. Because the last time I checked, some of the stories I've heard, well, people are going through that ain't never gone through in their life.
That's the truth.
And while people are going through, a lot of us are winning. Let's turn this a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of us, yeah, a lot of us are winning. And we heard it in many of the circles that we run through. Karen, 2023 was declared to be the year of the woman. And this is the year where we see so many more sisters collaborating, getting together as collectives to help each other glow up, so to speak. Um, that's a segue to this next piece of conversation. I had shared the article with you, my sister, with the headline that read, "Single women are outpacing men in home ownership." And here's why. Now, this article goes on to and share one particular situation with a mother and her daughter, and what caused her, after completing her master's degree, to become a home owner. Her mother was a landlord, of course, and her daughter's plan was to go ahead and rent. But after they, looked at the writing on the wall, this young lady made the decision to go ahead and purchase a home, and she became part of the what I believe is now the 80 percentile
Mm-hmm.
in the African American community, to actually own homes. Um, of course, we already know that it is often more affordable to pay a mortgage than it is to pay rent, because at the end of the day, owning a property and puts you in a position for to create generational wealth, because you have legitimate collateral to
Mm-hmm.
truly get in this equity game out here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the article referencing is on CBS.com in the Money Watch section if y'all want to go ahead and peruse this. But I began to think, of some of our own personal journeys, and how some of us even are the first in our families to even be homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
So many people that I knew growing up were just content to rent, when I'm grateful to share that I purchased my first home when I was 26 years old. And that was 4 years before my actual goal. I said I'm gonna buy my first house by the time I'm grateful to say that I was able to do it by the age of 26 with the help of so many different um, organizations in the community. You
Mm-hmm.
know, this isn't necessarily a conversation to talk about how women is outshining. No, I want y'all to really understand the meat of the matter is what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
With the help and the assistance of so many different organizations that we have active community, I was empowered to buy my first home by the age of 26. What did that look like for me at that age? It caused me to make sure I looked at my credit, had to look at my credit report and make sure things was right. And thank God I paid off that student loan. And after I paid off that, hallelujah, I ain't never gotten any more debt because I in that in that learning season of my life, I learned exactly what having student loan debt could do to you and your financial standing somewhere down in the future. So yeah, some organizations, I hooked up to them and went to a couple. Next thing you know, I got information about different grant programs that were available for certain peoples of color and certain people in certain spaces. And even my own city of Patterson, New Jersey, had a grant program running at the time that basically gave me the money I needed to put the down payment on my first home. Our people search for a lack of knowledge, and we endeavor to be a resource of sorts here at the Unhinged radio show live. Not again just having this experience and getting all this wisdom and gaining all this knowledge to hold it for ourselves and just for our immediate circles. It's for you too. Not for nothing, I had shared some information with a couple people this year that showed them how they could actually establish an LLC without having to drop a grip all at one time. That's a whole nother conversation. Let's get back to, again, generational wealth. I guess it is appropriate for me to be discussing business ownership in
Absolutely.
this same conversation. There are so many ways to meet the goal of home ownership. That
Mm-hmm.
being said, I'm going to go ahead because you got some excellent information written here. Karen, go ahead and share it with the listeners.
A lot of it is, as we think about what priorities do we need to set, I always say, how do you set financial priorities? And part of it is being real with yourself. So one of the things that Nikita talked about is I've experienced it from both sides. So at age 36, I was able to purchase my first home, and literally just sold that home weeks ago. Okay, weeks ago, to free up some other things for what the next is coming up. But one of the things after that, age 36, and it was important for me so that my family would have a place to live, all of those things. It did not cure me of automatically falling into financial responsibility. So I own a home and it's like, this is great. I'm now here. I have arrived. All of the things are in place. But then I had to go back and review all of the lessons that I had already learned. See, they send you through the classes because I got the grants. I had a whole program that literally was like every time I paid rent, they would put money into a savings account. And I put the down payment on my house literally from that money that they saved up for me. And at the end of that thing, it was like, I'm going to need my check now. And we went through and put that as a down payment. There are so many opportunities, but unless you set those financial priorities in your life, address whether you got a shopping addiction. I'm laughing about it because I know
Preach,
that
girl.
there are times when we on these internet websites. It is now the season of clearance racks. I don't care where you at. Somebody is having a clearance sale, and you feel
Yes,
like
they
it's
are.
all in your name. The same thing that I had to do when I was outside shopping for a new to me car versus a new car is review what are my financial responsibilities that I'm saying I want to happen in 2023. rolling into 2024 and being able to do that. One of the things that I have under my belt is that I'm also a landlord. That means that I have an investment property. The article that we mentioned under Money Watch talks about being a landlord versus paying a landlord. That changes the entire game. Honey, I need you to know on tomorrow, because tomorrow is rent day. And you know what I'm gonna be
First
doing?
of the
Wiggle,
month. I'm
shake, wiggle,
sorry.
wiggle, wiggle, shake. Shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle. Honey, when that payday come in, I'm shaking and wiggling. It wasn't an easy thing for me to do. I got connected with like-minded people who were able to kind of give me the tips and trips, the same thing that Tilted and I are saying to you. There is a path for you to take to home ownership. And this is for our sisters and our brothers. When we're talking about creating legacy, here's the legacy that I created and the reason why it's important for you all to listen, learn, and then take action. We love it that you here for the fun and for the good time, but we want you to take action. Why? Because there is something for you out there as well. After I purchased the home and I purchased the home, got it ready, was able to get my first tenant. You ain't gonna get these prices, but nowhere, not everywhere, but under $50,000. What I did was I had left a job and it freed up funds from my retirement account that I was able to withdraw. Now I had to be careful how I was withdrawing it because sometimes there's
Mm-hmm.
and different things, but you got to count the cost and weigh it out and see if that's an option. I didn't take all the money out because we need that money to still do something. But for under $50,000, I was able to purchase an entire home, and now we like going on 4.5 years. That investment has paid for itself, and that money is back in that account in 4.5 years because I'm a landlord. And so I remind people that there are so many different ways to create generational wealth, but it's important for us to share these details because just like 5 years ago, I didn't know how, but somebody else did. You got to get connected to somebody who's going to fill in the blanks and be able to do the things that you need to do for you, and give you that information. And maybe you did it before and you had to go through foreclosure or bankruptcy because you wasn't responsible. Build yourself back up, relearn the necessary things, set those financial priorities. And listen, here's the biggest part of it. The piece of property that I purchased, of course, every property has a deed. My last name being Sims. When I trace the deed back to the original owner of the land, that land now has returned to another Sims. The land was originally owned by a Sims family. I don't know what that means for you, but that meant I got to buy up the whole block now because the Sims was on that block. That's what my mind heard. Now your
But
mind
we're
might
working out.
heard different. So now we got to buy the block. When you understand that you move forward in a way that God has ordained for you, that was never my testimony. I had other houses that I was looking at. I wanted a cheaper house, or I wanted a house that, was move-in ready and we didn't have to dig up floors and do extra stuff. But God knew that there was a story that was connected to that house, that had to be my house. Now I get offers all the time. They be like, "You want to sell the house? Why? What? Why would I sell family legacy?" Now, some of y'all would, and y'all would still sleep well at night. That's also not my testimony. That one right there, gonna be here for life. Now, unless the government try to find a way to steal my stuff from me, then we gonna have a whole nother conversation. That's all we're gonna say on that. Think about ways that you could create generational wealth for your family. There are a lot of programs that will help you do it everywhere in every town. Pennsylvania has them, North Carolina has them. They got rent to own options. We want to see y'all winning. We want to invite to the housewarming party. I'll bring the devil eggs. Keita, what you bringing? The peach cobbler. I done already put her out for it. It
Oh,
don't even
so why you
matter.
put me out there for that peace cobbler?
I'm
I'm
putting it
trying,
out
trying
there
to tell the world about the peace
because,
cobbler.
that's why. That's the entire answer. So Keita bringing the peach cobbler, you may or may not get none after I get through with it because it's been a month of Sundays since I done had my
Let's
season.
see, woo girl, it's a whole bunch of lunar moons that pulled through, and yeah,
Don't
yeah.
ask me where that
Oh, don't
came
look at me in
from.
that tone of voice. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. Don't be doing that, right? Yeah, that's right. Y'all heard it.
The
If you
sister
didn't know,
age.
I'm nice with the peach cobbler. Hey, I own it.
And
I'm
I'm gonna
nice
say
with it.
this the peach cobbler that you can select whether you want ice cream or whipped cream because it's just that
Because you
good.
don't even need it. You don't
That
even
part.
need all that. You got
I
the
don't even
taste
know
of
how that
in
got
the
on my
crust.
mind. I blame the
I'm
cookie.
sorry. We hungry. We hungry. What it
I
is. So
blame
when
the
we
cookie
came
because we
home
got
and
that
we
cookie
started with the
attachment.
cookies. We got the nibbling, and now you want cake. I want cake. I want chocolate cake. Actually, I've wanted that since about 12:45 p.m. That's why I just got the cookies instead. But thank you all for tuning in to the Unhinged Radio Show. I'm looking at the clock. We get real close to the end of the show. And of course, I got to girl. I need my nuggets because we keep dropping them. I need my nuggets, carrot. Can you? So, without further ado, prepare yourselves for an experience of mass proportion. The experience that we know, love, and receive from every time we come to the platform. The wonder herself, Miss Karen Sims of Twisted Threads, with another impactful, life changing reflection of purpose. Get it, sis.
Listen, we're gonna get right into it. For those who follow me on my page, I have been focused on 31 days of positivity. And here's what has happened during that time. And this is our reflection today. Literally, focus one goal at a time. Here's the reason for that. I set a goal 31 days. I was going to give inspiration every single day. It wasn't that it was a perfect attendance, but I didn't miss one nugget. Many of you have that same thing in your mind. There's something that you want to do. And we've joked and laughed through this entire 90 minutes saying there are things that we need to do. But many of you have said no to yourselves for far too long. I challenge you to take the next month and say, what can I do with 30 days, with 45 days of positivity? What can I do to turn myself around, to stop saying, no, I can't, and turn my no into a yes for me and for my family? So today's reflections of purpose is really to remind you of the winner that's already inside of you. Once you set a goal, you have to take the opportunity to write out what the steps are going to need. That means stay out of the cookie aisle if you need to lose 10 pounds. I might meet you over there or meet me at the gym after we run through the cookie aisle. But give yourself a plan that is going to be workable for you. In this year of 2023, we're no longer talking about the things that we wish for. We are literally sharing the blueprint for how to get there. Tonight, you've heard blueprints. We didn't just talk about, oh, y'all need to go buy a house. We pointed you for where to look. Google it. Go to YouTube. Figure out how to get it done because we no longer have the choice to wait till tomorrow. See, we talked about what happened in the 10 years that we could cultivate this gift. Now is your time, but you got to seize the day, seize the moment. Get yourself a calendar and say, in the next 30 days, here's the thing that I want to do. And make sure it impacts you and your community and the folks that are closest around you. That's your homework for today. I know that the nuggets were supposed to just make you feel good. So here's the feel good part of the moment. We believe that you can do it. There is not anything that is impossible for you. God didn't connect you to us just so that you could laugh and have a good time, but you are just a few decisions away from the biggest win that can change and impact your life. That's your reflections of purpose. That in one
I love it. What wiggle wiggle shake, wiggle
wiggle.
wiggle wiggle shake. Okay, because I'm wiggling and I'm shaking because I promise you, when I came in the house, I had to write down my outro, my just be moment. And y'all, if y'all, this is live. This is not rehearsed. This is what we do, and and it just comes out. So as we close tonight's show, again, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. To Tilted Halo, myself, Miss Nikita Hansford, and of course Karen Sims of Twisted Threads. We are the Unhinged Radio Show live. And as we take it out, I got to encourage y'all, as I always do, to just be. My just be encouragement for tonight is just be in it to win it. Usually when you say win, you're usually playing a game. So tonight, again, to basically say it basically a different way, but the same way. that my sister said it. When you get in the game, you got to know the rules. So make sure you take the time to open the pamphlet, read the rules of engagement, and of course, never, ever, ever, ever overlook the fine print so that you know the rules of engagement to win. In every scenario and situation that you find yourself in, there is a winner inside of you, especially if you call on the name of God. Abba Father, He is in you. And because He is in you, that means you are destined to win. Be in it to win it, and understand that not given to the swift, neither to the strong, but to the one who endures to the end. This is the Unhinged Radio Show live. Tilted Halo, Twisted Threads. Great having a conversation with you over cookies tonight, Karen.
Yes, loved it.
We
All
love y'all. Thanks for hanging on in here with us. And we are out.